Had an opportunity to work together, and the manuscript that was sent to me, they felt wasn't right for me. After I really wanted it's a book that actually it was called Yoda's Barn, Raising Yoda's Barn. Yeah, I was so looking to do that. It was a great story, I think. And, Bernie Fuchs did it. But yes, I love working with Jackie. Because of the poetry. Her work is so poetic. And what she does is she knows how to leave that incredible space, that gap, between the lines, between the thoughts, between the emotions and all that. And it leaves me a large area to go in and fill. And so I get to go in, because my work is very poetic. My work is very less is more, very spare. And realizing as I got older, and less, I think we do as we grow as artists. We move to that. We understand that that's where the genius is. All artists in whatever facet that you're doing art, music, writing, have you, dance, you're moving towards simplicity. To remove all the unnecessary elements to just get to the essence of what it is that you need to say. And she does it so eloquently. And so my work, that's where I am. I think in my work that I'm able to remove all that stuff and then just put the initial, the most important things in. And I think that's why each one of those books, each kindness, the other side, and coming on home soon. I think they do that, they express that or show that or display that.
Can you tell us how you got involved with the National SCBWI and what you'd like to bring to the culture?
Well, I got invited. I was invited to the show. To the conference in Los Angeles, and it was a big conference. It was the national conference. So to be there and to be in the tribe, you get up and it's interesting. Give you some background. When and you start to think about this as you grow and start to analyze, your life. My early childhood, I was dyslexic, and not only dyslexic, but I stuttered. And so I had an enormous fear of standing in front of people to speak. And so by the time I got into college, I had public speaking course. And in that public speaking course, I was so bad that the professor pulled me aside one day, and near the end of class, near the end of the semester. He says, I have to be quite honest with you. I've been teaching this course for, 20-some years. You are the worst student I've ever had. He said, and I know why. I said, I know that you're rehearsed, you're well rehearsed. I know that when you get up there, you know the subject, but when you get up there, I've never seen anything like it. You just go blank, and I can't understand that. And I'm coaching, I'm trying, he said, only thing I can suggest you do is take a value. Whenever you come and speak. And so, I don't know if you want to keep that on that. And I don't know, I'm not going to take any drugs, but I'm not going to do this ever again. So, give me whatever grade I'm going to give me to get out of this class. I just give me because I'm a nervous wreck up there. And you can see, I'm standing up there from that perspective on that podium and talking to my, kind of getting ready to deliver, and I'm looking out, and these eyes looking up at me just freezes me, and my throat goes, everything is going, and I think now that I look back, is because of that childhood, of that fear, it never left. Yeah. And so when I got into children's books, when it came about, and teaching was fine. I could do it in a teaching situation, in a class and things like that. But in the big group. And so when I did my first book came out, they approached me, Philadelphia, because I'm now Philadelphia, I'm a Philadelphia, and the recognition is coming, and we want you to come and present your book to, the library. I'm like, no, you don't. No, I can't do that. I said, no, that's part of the the publishers are telling me, so no, they definitely want you in Philadelphia, and we're going to send all the books down, and it's going to be a big thing. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's the whole point. I can't do that. I said, no, it's necessary to be a children's book illustrator. And they talked me into it. I don't know how I think I forgot. And so I go in and I psych myself up to walk into this public library, the main library in Philadelphia. I psych myself up, so I walk in, and as I'm walking down the street, I'm starting to see newspaper camera trucks. News camera. TV news station trucks. In the newspaper, and I walk in, I said, well, they're not for me. I'm going in, and I go in, and it's like crowds. And the reason being, I didn't know the rest of this, was that the governor's wife was actually presenting too, and I was going to present before her, kind of a lead-in, because she was a librarian. And so this was her first time meeting the public, kind of speaking to the public, and so now my heart just dropped, because the cameras are going to be there.
Uh-huh.
Not only the people who are all there for her are there for me, in a sense.
Yeah.
And so I stood over in the corner, and I guess it must have been so obvious, because a woman walked over to me. She said, "You're scared to death, aren't you?" I said, "You don't even know the half of it."
Oh.
And she said, you're going up here. I understand that you're going to be the one of the presenters. I said, yeah. And so she said, tell me about the fear. I said, I told her the whole story. And she says, come with me in the back. And she took me in the back and she coached me. She said, first, you're going to talk about the book and you're going to read? I said, yeah. I said, she said, what I want you to do, she said, I want you to stop thinking about who you are. I want you to basically think about the character in the book. I want you to become the character in the book, if you can do that. Because if you stand up there and think about who you are standing up there, all that will come on you while you're there. And you're going to start thinking about all your faults and all the things that you think people are looking at and seeing, and you will definitely fail. And so she coached me. And so I got up with that coaching, and I made it through. I don't know how bad or how good I was. I just got through it, And so at that point, I said, no, can't do this again. And so, but it didn't stop. The publishers kept saying, we got a school visit, we got this, those kind of things. And what I realized started to happen is that I started to get better at it, because I started to realize the difference was that I was not, once I flipped it and not talked about me, talked about what I'm passionate about, it changed everything. And so I started to get really good at speaking and not having fear anymore. And so I would go to a conference and speak, and then I was in like Chicago, and someone would, in Miami, a month later or a year later, and someone would come up and say, I saw you in Chicago. You were amazing. I came all the way from Chicago to see you here in Miami.
Wow.
You speak again. I'm like, how that sounds to me. That's like the craziest thing in the world. So I likened myself to, I guess, when in the Bible where the Creator approaches Moses and says, I want you to be the orator and the speaker, for people, and then Moses says, no, you're not me. I stutter. It's, you mean my brother Aaron? He's the orator. He said, no. And so when I think about, I must be prepared. Creator must be preparing me for something, because I know what I've gone through. And so when we go back to your question at CBWI, I got up because now I'm standing in my peers. I'm looking at 2,000 people out there, and I have my little kind of note in my pocket of where my outline of what I'm going to speak about. And I get up, I look out, and I go reaching for that. And I said, no. and I put my hand out, and I walked around the podium, and I spoke. And I can't exactly remember what I spoke about, but I know when I finished, I got this major, you know, roar and jump up, and a round of applause that lasted forever. You know, and Lynn Oliver came to me. She said, you know, I never seen anything like that. It was an amazing thing. I mean, people, you got them all. Look at them. You know, you got people in tears, the whole 9 yards. And so she came to me. She said, I want you to be on the board. And so that's how I became a board member.
Just by her request, that right on the moment.
Okay.